Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I'm still on my only second cup of coffee this morning. How is everybody doing today? Good to see where everybody is joining from. That is always a delight. We have no plan today, so we'll see what happens on the stream. If you have a question, drop a question in the chat, and we'll see what happens. And I will hopefully get to answer most of the questions, although at the way things have been going, I usually end up getting way behind in the chat. And yeah, so that's the deal. If you do have a question, put the letter Q in front, and that makes it easier for me to see on my screen here. Otherwise, I will be just chatting along with you in the chat. New setup and background. Oh, you know what? You know what it is? It's actually, it's the same background. I actually took, I pulled the little lights out of the frame because last week I started shooting a new video course for work, and I didn't want it to look like anything in particular in the background, so I just wanted the flat, well, gradient color, and that's actually probably why this color is a little bit different too. But I pulled the little lights up on the rope, so they're just out of the frame now, and I forgot to put them back down for today. So that is the deal. No, that's the only thing that's different though about this. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. I'm in the exact same spot, which is the table here with my main light from there. There is a light up on the ceiling that's pointing down this way. And yeah. No plan is a good plan. Those are the best streams. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Second, oops. Hi from Belgium. Didn't mean to click that one, but hi. Second cup of coffee. I wouldn't even be awake by then. I mean, it's 10 a.m. It's not early. It is now late morning, and I am usually awake by 6 or whatever anyway. So yeah. Studio redesign going smoothly? Good question. Not exactly, I would say. I'm still struggling trying to figure out what I'm doing in here. So let me show what I have been doing. So I made a little bit of progress, at least on the mock-up version. So you get into the right app. Where is it? There it is. So the sketch I've been doing on this iPad, which is Shaper 3D, is this is I did the floor plan in Fusion because I'm trying to learn Fusion, and then I was like, well, I need to do the furniture really quick, so I did these in Shaper 3D because I'm much faster at it. And I modeled, so last week after the stream, let me get out of here. Last week after the stream, I actually ended up modeling all of the furniture in the space. So I just measured everything. I made quick little models. This one wasn't so quick. That's my little shelf. And but this is my little air conditioner. There's the rack with nothing in it. There is the large table here and the standing desk there. And then on the other side, I've got my exposed shelves, and then the 3 cabinets. So I wanted to model all the furniture in here. Oh, then I also painted the walls because I wanted to make sure that I had the context for the walls in here. So I wanted to model all the furniture so that I can rearrange things. And you might notice this is not where things are in the space right now. So this is one version of what I could change it into. This table is roughly in the same spot as it is now, but then the desk would move. So I'm thinking about it. And now what I can do is I can go in and let me turn on the little slice view first of all, so we can see through the walls. Okay, so what I can do now that I have the little models created is go in here and be like, oh, what does this camera look like if it was here? What would it look like, right? And one of the reasons I'm thinking about moving that desk over to where my shelf is currently is because I'm thinking it would look better for this angle if that were a nicely set up desk. So right now it's, where is it? Right now it's that, which is a little chaotic, and it's not in the best spot in this shot or in my other camera. So my thought was, what if that was a desk with a nice dual monitor setup on it, and it was staged well and like actually looked like a desk that a person would use and not like a crazy person like the rest of this lab looks most of the time. So that's one option. And then the only thing that I'm struggling with this is that like it means that the view from the webcam on that table, if I did put a webcam there, is basically this. Let's see if I get in the right spot. Yeah. So it is the rest of the room. So I would see this table that I'm at in the shot, and the and I would see the rest of that. And that shelf is full of junk, so it does not look great. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that is actually a good plan, or maybe I just don't have a webcam at that desk and it's only just like an editing desk or something. But I do presentations where I need a dual monitor setup. So I'm thinking, yeah, what I'm trying to do is just figure out what are all the things I actually need. What are all the things I actually do in here in terms of like this live stream, the workshops I do for work, where I care less about what the background looks like. Actually, I would rather have a plain background for those. And, but I need the dual monitor for computers and doing keynote stuff and trying to balance the different uses of it. And then also I need to have a space in here to shoot product shots, because whenever I do product B-roll for those videos, I want to have a relatively simple, plain, but at least very blurry background. And I'm trying to shoot, you know, low shots and stuff. And like right now, I don't even have a camera at the right spot, but like this corner where this camera is, where that camera actually is it's kind of a mess. And I can't really like, I have to move stuff around in order to shoot products that I would set right where this stream deck is. So yeah, I'm trying to make a list of like, what are all the things I actually do in here? What are all the angles I need? And then work backwards. And now that I have this model created, I can quickly move the furniture around and be like, oh, what if that was way closer to the wall, where I just had a foot between me and the wall, or because I only ever care about it being a flat, dark background anyway, right? So fun stuff. Yeah. We will see how this goes. 2 thumbs up on doing detailed models, paint, and all the corners. Yeah, totally. I had to get these little ledges in here too, because they're kind of they're very visible in the shots when they are in a shot. So the this is the, like, this little ledge is definitely like, you know, it cuts through that color block otherwise. And I can put stuff on there too, but then it just kind of looks messy unless I do it nicely. I think getting both desks closer together will help considerably on your cables. I know it's been a goal for some time. Yeah, the cable situation is a bit of a mess. And one of the other challenges with the cables is because I have this little breakout box under this table with the 12 ports, essentially, 6 in, 6 out, going into the matrix, it means that I'm limited in terms of what I can plug in here versus at the other place, because I only have those 12 connectors. So I think it could be kind of nice to not have that limit anymore and maybe use that box somewhere where I don't plug stuff in and out all the time. So are your lights going to fit, or are you changing to LED panels? I actually only have one light that is not an LED panel, and it's the main light here. So this this one, it's not actually that big, but this one is the only thing that's not a panel, and I like this one a lot, so I'm going to keep it for sure. Oh, I guess the ones behind me are not panels either, but those are up on the ceiling. Speaking of ceiling, that's another thing I've been thinking about, is like, what if I got like a pole to stretch across this way and then started clamping stuff to the ceiling to get stuff off the floor, because that's again, what's making it kind of chaotic in here is how much stuff is on the floor, all the tripods and stands. So face the desk towards the wall. I guess that's an option. Yeah, I could take that desk, spin it around, and then bring it like that. And then I get my main shot from that is basically this wall, which is fine. And that could work. And then I just lose a little bit of that space to be able to shoot against this gray wall, but it's pretty big anyway. And if I am gaining back, this is where the desk is right now. And it's not a circle. I don't know why I drew a circle. This is where it is right here right now. So it would take up a little bit more space doing it there, but could work. Truss would let you get stuff up but still be reconfigurable. I know. I'm a little bit worried about building a full-on truss system in here because that's a bigger project, and if I don't bolt that to the walls, it eats up a lot of floor space, and the space is not tiny, but it's also not huge. But I do like the idea of putting stuff, being able to attach more stuff to the ceilings. Just drop down a green screen and key in somebody else's studio. It's true. And just make my background look like whatever and just green screen it. Well, that's the other thing I was thinking about doing for the workshops too, is that like if I did have a background that clearly looks like it's a studio for this stream, I could just pull up a green screen behind it for doing work stuff where I don't want the background to be relevant. The pop-up green screen would fit that angle well, blocking the opposite wall, just narrow enough. Yeah, that definitely could work, and that might be the best option. So that would be like, here, let's put this back. Where was it? Put it back there, and then if I didn't model my green screen in here. I don't know how big it is, but it's roughly, it's roughly that big. So that is the little, oops. This is the little block that it sits in, and then when you pull it up, it obviously gets a lot taller, but oh, I didn't want to actually extend the floor. Where is the floor? Let's make this its own little block. Okay, now I can move that. So it could be like there-ish, and then pull up when I need to. Probably would work. I think I have to get a narrower lens than 15 millimeter because I think the 15 millimeter is too wide. It shows more of the past that. Could work. Definitely could work. I should leave that in there as a note to myself to actually model that properly. Measure the green screen later. Use the second desk as a top-down shooting table. Yeah, so here's the thing about the top-down angle is that I've realized that most of the time that I actually want a top-down shot, it's for live streams or live demos. So this, for example, is my top-down angle so that I can show you something on the table. Whether that's an iPad or some switcher, whatever it is, and do demos that way. And I don't actually do product shots just straight down that often, if at all, really. Most of the time I'm doing product shots, I'm doing low angles. And so I don't think I actually need a dedicated desk that I don't also have as part of the like camera angles on for myself. So you need some space between you and the green screen to avoid spill. Yeah, that was probably too close in that little quick sketch I did. Have you thought about building some sort of channel on the ledge and cover it with light? That way you could use it to run cables. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Use the ledge in order to run cables. The only problem is the outlets that are on there are like they are there's only like 2 inches before you hit the outlet, so I have to deal with that somehow. That could be a way to get cables around the room. Right now I have cables mostly just along the edges of the room in the corners. Have you seen MakerPipe? I'm having a blast doing a DIY truss system with EMT pipe and MakerPipe connectors. I have not seen that. I will have to check that out. Thank you for the tip. So, okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. It's still very much in progress, and also I'm probably not going to do anything for a couple of weeks, anything drastic anyway. Probably going to keep doing more sketches for now, for a couple of weeks, and because I am in the middle of filming a new course, and I don't want to have essentially, like, as soon as I move anything around in here, the whole thing is out of commission until I get it set back up again. So I don't want to do anything that involves unplugging gear until I'm ready to put it right back in so I can use it again. But I need to get this course filmed now too. So I'm probably just going to sketch 3D models for a little while and screenshot more studio shots from other people's studios that I like. Do you think John will finish his office and studio before you finish this reconfiguration? Very probably, yes, because he is just moved into a new space, but is also like ready to start using it and isn't using it yet. Whereas like this space now exists and it is functional, and I have to completely disassemble it. And so yeah, I think he's going to beat me to it. What are you allowed to do with the space? Is it a rented office space? Is this your house? Could you remove that mid-wall ledge? So this is my studio, and I built most of the stuff in here except the I mentioned this a little bit on the studio tour video, and I think I showed some before pictures, but let me show you what was there before, because that is I'll show you why I can't do anything with that ledge. It is, let's see, probably the fastest way for me to do this is to just pull up my own video on YouTube. So let's see if I can find it. It was in the, where are my timestamps? Who puts timestamps at the bottom of their videos? There we go. This chunk. So in here, there we go. This is what it looked like before. And this was actually, let's see, there we go. This is what it looked like before. It was a garage. So concrete floors, this is the foundation, and that is concrete. So what I did was put these little 2x4s up against it in order to put drywall outside of that so that I could actually have drywall and paint it and have it look like an interior space. So that's why there's a piece of trim up there, because that was already sticking out. Like the concrete was already sticking out and the drywall was behind it. So that's what the ledge is from. So I can't do anything with that because that is the foundation of the space. Other than that, like everything else in here this is what it was before. It was just an empty box, and that wall was new. So that was, and this little piece of foundation was new. And everything else was, added in. So that is, I can do other stuff, but now that I've already like built this much stuff into it, I don't want to go too ridiculous with it. I also want it to look like still like an inside space and not like an industrial studio. And that's the other sort of, challenge with this, is that like Photo Joseph has an amazing studio. He has like 1,000 square feet only for the studio. It's a giant warehouse, and you can do a lot in that amount of space, right? And if your goal is that it is a functional studio, then, and you don't care about what it looks like other than the specific sets you've got set up, then actually there's a lot more flexibility you have with it. And for whatever reason, probably just because I end up spending a lot of time in here that isn't on camera while I'm just working on other stuff, I don't want it to look like an industrial studio. I want it to look like interior space that is a nice office that also is a functional studio. So there's those two goals are kind of also at odds with each other. John does have the advantage of a clean slate. Yeah, and that was, you know, this was a clean slate at one point, but now I'm using it and I can't have it out of commission for that long. So, Photo Joseph also has a lot of cameras. It is true. He has a lot of cameras. Yeah, I would like to be able to buy 6 Lumix box cameras. That sounds like fun. Okay. What other questions? I saw some questions in here. Just a reminder, since that's going to get lost in the chat pretty soon, if you do have a question, start it with the letter Q, and I will see it in the midst of all the chat this way. So, oh, someone was asking, how do you get the iPad into the ATEM? This is actually, so because it's an iPad, it has AirPlay. So I just went in here and did screen mirroring, and it is screen mirroring to my Apple TV, which is named Studio. And then the Apple TV is plugged into the ATEM, and yeah, that's it. So once AirPlay is turned on, then yeah, once you enable AirPlay from the iPad, then the Apple TV just shows that on the screen. And for most apps, they don't recognize a second display. So this is just mirroring whatever's on this is on the iPad. So that's, you see exactly that there. But if I use apps that understand a second monitor, then it will do like a clean out and not be this non 16:9. So this is not 16:9. Like if I show you how it'll fill the screen, there's going to be black bars on the side, right? So using apps that understand there's an external monitor means that it can get the aspect ratio right. So that's both like just the photo app of just showing photos, but also where did it go? Live app, which I was using to draw on the screen. So now, even though screen mirroring is enabled, the Apple TV does not look like this on the ATEM anymore. So here, this is it's on that one in the bottom right corner in that way, Apple TV number 8, and you can see it's a black screen. And if I draw on this, then it's only outputting the drawings. So that's basically, this app doesn't even know there's an Apple TV. Doesn't know it's wireless. It just sees the external display the same way it would as if it were plugged in via HDMI, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's how I do the iPad. It's pretty convenient. I like not having it have to be tethered. What do you think of Joshua Ford's PTZ in his new studio? I love it. I think it's really clever. The top-down PTZ is very cool, and he has it on the ceiling, and then he can, because it's a zoom, it can actually zoom in and fill the screen with like a companion, like a Stream Deck will fill the screen, but then he can also go zoom way out and get the whole space. So it's very tempting, but those cameras are like $2,600. So maybe that's a reward I get myself for finishing this project, is a ceiling mount PTZ camera, because it is definitely a cool trick, but I can't justify it now because I don't really have a good spot for it until I reconfigure things, and then it could be fun. It could be fun. How many cameras do you actually have, and how many do you regularly use? So like I mentioned before, I do a couple of things in the space, and one of which is these live streams. Another is the edited videos I do on YouTube, and then another is workshops I do for work. And those also have two categories, where one of them I am in a Zoom meeting screen sharing, where the camera that I want in Zoom is just my head, and then I'm screen sharing slides into Zoom. And then for a different type of workshop, when I'm using different software that's not Zoom, I will go into a super source layout and actually do like this layout where I'm showing slides on my screen in the webcam that's fed into the system. So I need both of those setups. And for that, basically what it means is you need essentially a second capture card plugged into the ATEM in order to get, in order to be able to record your Zoom meetings with your super source layout, but have Zoom see only a camera. I do have a video about that one that I did a while ago. Let me see if I can find that one. It should be, if you just search for Zoom, it should show up. Yeah. So this was where is it? I need a faster way to get these titles into the chat. Anyway, that link is the video where I explained how to get that set up, where you are recording your super source from the Zoom or from your presentation, but then you want Zoom to not see the super source. That's the trick. And it's a good trick, and it works well for presentations. This is a nice angle. I like this angle. I don't usually have a camera there because it would be like, I should remember this. This is a good angle to use. But yeah, like I don't want Zoom to see the super source. I want Zoom to see just the camera, but then I want to record super source. So I have those different uses of the space. So as far as camera angles go, the ones that are permanently set up, more or less permanently set up, are this one. The overhead is really handy for doing stuff like this, and it's easy to just keep there out of the way. And then there's, when I'm doing the videos for YouTube, I have two sort of like main cameras pointed at me. The other one is this one. And the reason I do that is so that I can cut between the two cameras in order to edit my dialogue. So as I'm speaking for a YouTube video, I will do retakes and mess up and whatever, and then I go in and I take out bits until it sounds right. And I don't want a bunch of jump cuts. I'm trying to avoid that if possible. So the solution is you have two angles to cut from, and I don't want to always cut between B-roll and talking heads. So I have two sort of main camera shots. And then I like having this this one on the side, although now reminding me of the other shot, sometimes it's nicer to have it over here looking that way. I like having that for live streams. I usually don't have that camera there for the edited videos, and I certainly don't for any workshops. And then I guess that's really it. Those are the like 4-ish main ones here. And then at that desk, I only have one camera, and it's just it's just for looking at me, looking at the computer screens. And I could combine, like if I could figure out how to combine the two desks so I can do everything I need to do in one place, that would be fine also. Totally doable. And then I have the other camera I have right now is the one pointing at the rack, but that's just because I don't have anything else to do with it right now. Yeah. So those are the cameras, but like I said, like some of it is just because it's a artifact of how this space is laid out right now, not necessarily the best way to do it. So if I could rearrange things, maybe I could cut down one camera or two. Can you control your matrix switches with Companion or the Stream Deck? It might help with organizing your desk. I have been actually, and it's super handy. I really like doing it from Companion. So I've been doing it from the Stream Deck now almost exclusively, and I actually don't go into the software on the computer anymore. So I'm able to, let's see if I can put this in the shot. I can. So I'm able to go into the Matrix tab, and then these are all the different screens that I might be controlling. So like, what can I adjust without? Here, I'll change that one really quick. So, or I'll change the big multi-view. This is my big multi-view, right? So this is the, where is it? The I can't see at this angle. Table, monitor, large. So I tap that, and then I can say, okay, well, instead of the ATEM Extreme, what if I want to show you, what if I want to see the web presenter? And I can tap that. This is the one that takes the longest to reconfigure because this monitor is very cheap. And now I've got my big web presenter stats on there, or I could actually say, I want that to be the computer today. And that is now my computer monitor. And then maybe this small one, I actually want to be, what is that one? Table monitor small. And I want that to be the multi-view. And now I have a bigger computer screen in front of me, which could be nice, as long as I don't mind looking off at the side, which is what it looks like now when I'm looking at it. So yeah, anyway, I've been really enjoying using the Stream Deck interface for that compared to the software on the computer. This is too confusing. I need to switch it back. I'm not used to this layout. But yeah, I have been enjoying that. It is oftentimes easier to use than the software because I can put these buttons in any order. These buttons are not organized by number 1 through 20. They're organized in what I think makes sense. And like if let me go into the screenshot of Companion for that. So this is what the setup looks like, and I can have like, okay, here's all my ATEM buttons. Here's like all the things plugged into the little breakout box, even if they're not sequential in those plugs in the actual physical ports. So I can organize these in a way that makes a little bit more sense. So like here's my let's see, yeah, here's the table breakout things. Here's the sort of outputs, the multi-views, the ATEM, the web presenter, here my two computer screens, the Apple TV. So I can mentally, I can get used to where these buttons are easier than I can remember like what number something's plugged into. Because in the VideoHub, first of all, their icons are just not very useful. But then these are only ever sorted by plug number. And then I have to remember, oh, what did I plug where did I plug in the cameras or whatever? And I tried to actually organize my ports in a way that kind of made sense, but as things change slowly, those get out of whack a little bit. So some of these don't make the most sense. Like I did put my ATEMs 1 through 8 in destination numbers 1 through 8 just to make that simple. But then like, why is the HyperDeck the next one? I don't know. There's no real reason for that, right? But yeah, it has been nice to control that from the Stream Deck. Thank you, Jamie, for the super chat. Thanks very much. Thank you for the video you did 2 weeks ago on using the ATEM with FTP. It really helped my workflow. I am so glad to hear that. That is fantastic. That is that video. I found myself explaining that like ad hoc a bunch of times, and I was like, this would be just a good standalone video. So that was a good little video. I'm glad it's helpful. I think it's a good trick. I've been using it a bit too, so it's nice to be able to just quickly grab files off of the ATEM. What kind of cameras are you using? It's a mix. This one right now is the GH5S, and then most of the other ones in here are Lumix G7s because those are cheap, and I would rather spend $2,000 on 4 cameras than $2,000 on 1 camera. So the downside is the Lumix G7s have much more of a delay, so it's not in sync when I'm just using it as a main talking head camera. So as a side view or whatever, it's fine. But then I do have Sony cameras too. So the overhead camera is actually the A6400, and I do that because its autofocus is much better than Lumix cameras. And then the other one that's a Sony, which comes and goes, it's not permanent, is this one. This is the ZV-E10 right now. I sometimes have put different cameras there. I probably should just leave a G7 there at this point because I do end up putting that camera there all the time. And I don't really need it to have the best autofocus, so I could switch that up. Those are the cameras. Okay, I saw somebody ask about this. Was that a handle on the YoloBox stand? And what is that red thing holding the YoloBox? Yes. Okay, so this is a sneak peek. You're getting this sneak peek early, but this is something new that we've been working on. Get my thumbprints off the screen. This is a new cage for the YoloBox, and it is made of 2 aluminum brackets instead of just 1. The original one looks like this with no YoloBox in it, and this is the one for a desk use where, you know, it sits at a nice angle. But this one is not for desk use. This one is for tripods. So you can attach a plate on the bottom. I don't have it here, but you can bolt in a plate here that you can put onto a tripod plate. And then this will sit nicely on a tripod. And then it's got a handle. It's also got, oh, they're in the other bag at home. So not in this room right now. But on the back, we've got more cold shoes for attaching various things. There's holes for different brackets to attach to, but we've also got, and I don't have them here, but we've got things that you can attach into these slots to attach like cable organizers or other cold shoes. So this is your sneak peek of this. It's not out yet. It is coming very soon. And I will let you know when it is available, because it'll be very soon. It'll be a couple weeks probably. But yeah, I'm very excited about this new design. I know a lot of people have been wanting a more rugged, more portable for outdoor, you know, on the go use. So that is the design. That's the idea with this one. Also, it comes in red again and black like the original stand, and fun. Those are nice, fun colors. So that's the deal with this. Yeah. That was your little sneak peek of brand new YoloBox cage. How do you deal with the various video delays? So the you might notice that, well, this one is delayed, which is not good, and I should not do that. I'm gonna fix this eventually and replace that one with a camera that matches the main camera delay. But the other cameras don't matter, because when it's an overhead shot, you can't see my lips move, so you can't tell if my hands are slightly delayed or not. So it doesn't matter there. For this one, you also can't see my face, so you can't really tell. You can see me over here, but that's always going to be delayed because it's going through this monitor and the ATEM and whatever else. So that's never going to be in sync, even if, like, this is my main camera, and first of all, it's tiny. You can barely even see it. And if you do look super closely, you'll probably still see a delay anyway. So this camera doesn't matter either. Basically, the answer is use your cameras in a way where the delay doesn't matter, and or use cameras that all match, and then it's all the same. So that's the answer. And I need to fix my side camera because I have not followed my own advice on that. Nice idea to go with red for prototypes. No, that's the production color. This is the actual real color. We have a red and black version available, so I just like the red one because it looks nice on camera. Especially against this blue background. But yeah, it is, you can get it in this red, and it is a very nice red, actually. I can show you the overhead view too, close up. So it actually looks a little bit more orange on the screen now that I'm looking at it compared to what I see here. So that camera white balance might be off. This angle looks a little bit more accurate. YoloBox Pro or Original 2? This one's going to be only for the Pro. We're not doing one of these for the Original. I think that I have a feeling that I just see more people use the pros lately in like that kind of settings. So also the pro, honestly, like that's where the future of that device is. As much as I like the size of the original, I actually prefer the size a lot better. It's so much smaller and it's so much more portable, but in terms of the hardware of it, the future of that device definitely is in the Pro model, just because it's got a better processor and they can do so much more with it. And it's already apparent, like if you look at the features that have been coming out in the firmware updates, they have been updating the firmware in the original still, because it is still a supported device, but they just can't add some things to it. So they're only adding some features in the Pro model, and yeah, that's the deal. Okay, what other questions about this? I see a bunch of ATEM questions queuing up, so I'm going to get to those in a second. And okay, so yeah, related to the camera issue. Can you delay individual video inputs on their own in the ATEM software? No, almost nothing has that ability, actually. There are very few things that can add video delay, especially in the tiny amounts you need for syncing up multiple cameras. Because we're talking about only a few frames different, and it's enough to be noticeable when you're looking at someone talking, but it's still requires quite a bit of extra hardware that is not in most of these things. So I was able to do like a 5-minute delay by essentially recording to a hard drive and playing it back, sort of like a literal tape delay. And that was for like a poker stream that we did. Actually, I think it was 15 minutes. But that's a whole different problem. And it's also not precise. It's like we didn't care if it was 15 minutes or 15 minutes and 10 seconds. It just needed to be something large. But for this kind of stuff, you need it to be frame accurate. And the hardware that can do that is very, very expensive. How do you switch your cameras? ATEM Mini Extreme almost entirely. So I have all the cameras going into the ATEM here, and you can see all my angles that are here right now. And then I am using the Stream Deck buttons, which is this device over here, to punch between this angle, that angle. Those are the 3 main cameras. And then if I wanted to show you, or here's the overhead. And then I've got buttons for the layouts. So I've got Super Source with the iPad, et cetera, et cetera. And that is, and then I have the matrix that lets me reassign cameras to different inputs, or different things to different inputs and outputs. So I can say, oh, I don't need this camera right now, so take it out of the ATEM, and instead let me put the Apple TV in that slot. That's all with the SDI Matrix, which is also controlled from the Stream Deck. But yeah. Did you try the webcam interface on the YoloBox? The release notes made me feel it's not ready yet. I want to stream everything to Zoom or Teams. I agree. It is a little bit, it needs some more work before I would consider it ready. It's missing audio and it's missing the background image right now. So I would not consider it a complete. I don't think they should have shipped it. Is what I would say. I think they should have waited to ship that feature until it's all the way done. Because I do think that there's not having audio out means it's really limited in what you can actually use it for realistically right now. So I think they should have waited on that and just not promised too much. I told them that, but I don't even think the person I'm talking to mainly is super in control of the product direction. So, but yeah, feedback is helpful. If you have enjoyed it and have been using it so far, that is useful feedback for YoloBox and for me. And if you also were like, well, I can't use this because there's no audio, that's also useful feedback. So they do listen to feedback, which is very nice. Chris says, one way to do the delay is change it via macro when switching cameras. I've demoed that before. It is not great. So, and that also obviously only changes the audio delay. It's not super great because there is a little pop between when you change the delay. It'll always make this little pop sound because it's splitting audio samples. I've demoed it before. I think even last week, I think I did a demo of doing that. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't think that's a great option. The other problem is that if you are talking about any more than like 2 or 3 frames, if you're switching between like 8 and 2, 6 frames is actually a pretty long amount of time, and it's enough that your sounds of your speech might get cut off. So if I'm switching cameras mid-word, you'll hear doubled up parts of words, which is annoying. So that would only work if I was willing to only switch cameras when I'm not talking. Well, 6 frames after I've stopped making a sound is the answer, I guess. So I don't consider that a very good solution, is the end of that story. What matrix switch do I use? This is the Blackmagic, the 20 by 20. So let me see if I can find it. Do I have a link to it? It's in my studio tour video at the very least, which I think is actually up still on my screen. How convenient. Nope, I didn't link it in there. That's wonderful. Oh, there it is. It's called, it has like 5 names. VideoHub is the actual product name. Here's the SDI Matrix. It is a, VideoHub is the product name. The other name for it is a router or matrix. So the is what it looks like. And the, yeah, you might see it called SDI Matrix or SDI Router. I've been reasonably happy with it. It is loud, so the fans that it comes with are quite loud, and I did replace the fans with quieter fans, which was a upgrade I got from some third party that was shipping a new metal top with fans built in, which makes it quieter but not silent. And I do kind of wish it was quieter still, because I really don't like fan noise in here, but it's yeah, I do. I've definitely been enjoying it. I've clearly been using it. Oops. Oh, Chris, I use a stinger with sound effect when switching cameras with different delay. That is one way to cover up the pop. That would definitely work. I think it would be a little bit much if I did that every time I switch cameras for this, though. But it is a good point. It is so loud. I know it's really loud. I'm hoping that, like, so all the new fans that Blackmagic has been using in the new stuff, like the new Hyperdecks, are super quiet, and the ATEM Minis, I can never hear them. So I think they finally figured out, and people actually care about their gear not making a bunch of noise. So I'm hoping that if they ever make a new SDI Matrix, it'll also have the quiet fans. Yeah, so let me find the link I got to the fan upgrade for this. It was the what was it? Quiet. Here it is. Yeah. Okay. It's not a cheap kit, but quiet fans for the 20 by 20. So here's the link. This is what I bought, and it's $300, and I feel like it's a little bit expensive for what it actually is. It's essentially a panel up here, a replacement metal sheet that is got the right screw holes and everything, and then 2 slots for fans, and they do include the fans, obviously, better for that price. And then what you do is you take out the fans. You take off the plate the Blackmagic sends, you take out the fans that they've shipped, and then you plug in those fans into the board. And I actually asked them to send me one without this power cord. This is also a 12 volt mod to power the VideoHub over 12 volts, which I didn't care about. So they knocked off a couple of dollars for that. And that's what I did to mine. And it has been worth it. It is so much quieter, but it's not, again, not totally silent. And yes, it is simple to install and reversible. So there is no destructive changes. Like the fans that the Blackmagic sends are already plugged in with the little pin connectors. You just unplug those, keep them in a box somewhere if you ever wanted to put it back to sell it as a regular one. But honestly, this has been a very good upgrade, and I would recommend just keeping this on it if you did want to sell it, because whoever else is going to buy it probably wants that anyway. Okay, so the Smart Video Hub is SDI, so you're converting from HDMI to SDI and then back to HDMI for the ATEM. Yes. I'm also getting more sources that are SDI to begin with. And so the HyperDex, the web presenter, the other ATEM, there's a lot of stuff that is SDI entirely. And a lot of that stuff goes into the Matrix without any conversion because it's just SDI. So like if you look at all the stuff in there, a lot of the stuff is SDI gear, which is good because then it just goes straight into the Matrix with no conversion. But yeah, to get anything into the ATEM, I have a stack of converters. I have 8 converters that go SDI outs from the Matrix HDMI into the ATEM. And then for any cameras that I have in here that are not SDI cameras, which I don't currently have any SDI cameras in here. Yeah, no, none of these are SDI. They're all HDMI. So there's a bunch of HDMI converters that turn those cameras into SDI. And then same with monitors. So some of my monitors are SDI, some are HDMI. The big monitor over here, actually, technically it's an HDMI monitor, but I have to use a scaler with it. So the scaler gives it an SDI input. That one's HDMI. The teleprompter is SDI, which is nice. And then I've got on the rack, the 2 little screens up there are SDI. So it's a mix. But yeah, anytime I've got HDMI sources or destinations, I have to run them through a converter. And there is a stack of converters in that rack behind there to do all that work. And the stack of converters, it's literally a stack because I made a little stack for them. Where did it go? When was that? 2020 at some point, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, SDI converter. Why can't I even find my own blog post? Somewhere in here I have a blog post about the converters. I just literally, oh, that was the wrong direction. Okay, I literally can't see it. Why can't I find it? Here it is. Okay. 3D printed modular cage for Blackmagic bidirectional SDI converters. This is what I did to mine, is I put them in a little tower. This is a 3D printed, one of the first things I 3D printed actually. So it's not the best in terms of engineering, but it works. And yeah, they're in their little tower. I have 2 of these little towers behind the rack. And if you want, like this is I'm not selling these. I just did this for fun. If you want to print them yourself, you can. So that link is there in the chat, and you can just download the files. This is what it looked like before it was in the rack. This was on the desk. So, but you get the idea, right? You just run 4 or 5 high, and you run a bunch of short little cables into the Matrix. It works well. These are the parts and these are the files, and you are welcome to just print those if you want. I do not plan on selling them. Like I said, if I did sell them, I would do things a little bit differently with the design. Those pegs don't need to be that tall. I should probably just update the files. It definitely works if they're a little bit shorter and they're a little bit easier to manage that way, but I would probably do things differently if I was going to actually sell these. That was, like I said, first attempt at, well, first or second thing I 3D printed, but they've been working. The one rack Blackmagic products are designed for tight rack mounting. Fans on the top means you must leave space for airflow. Yes, it is true. So the all the hyperdecks and everything vent out the sides, and the Matrix no longer does. It vents up. So it just means that it is, if you notice where it is in the rack, it is directly below the two monitors. So the monitor up there is only about an inch deep. So it's perfect to put the Matrix under it because there's plenty of space up there. But yeah, it does mean that you have to plan for where to put that in the rack. Okay, a lot of good questions coming in. Oh, but hey, another camera channel. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all your help and advice to everyone on the H2R Discord. And of course, these streams, you've helped me a lot. I'm so glad to hear it. Thank you. You should also go check out his channel because he's got some cool videos. So I think you can click on his name to go to the channel. And thank you for the super chat. Are you 3D printing your own products or just the prototypes? I'm only doing the prototypes. So I haven't actually done any of the production work of like from my own 3D printers. Been 3D printing the prototypes, iterating on the designs that way, and then the people that print them are in Slovakia and Australia, and those are where they actually come from. They have many, many more printers than I do set up in little printer farms, and they use actually way better material than I just use cheap PLA because I'm doing prototypes, and I mostly don't care about testing how long it's going to last. I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it the right size? Did I get the screw hole in the right spot? Is this thing going to fit in this thing? So I use very cheap PLA for the prototypes, and then because I'm like just burning through them when I do them, and then when we do them for real, they get printed in much, much, much nicer material that is looks better. It has a nicer surface finish. It's printed way better quality, way better resolution than my quick prototypes. So like some of these things you would look at and you wouldn't even know they're 3D printed, which is, I think, pretty cool. Okay, we got the converters out of the way. Looks like after the upgrade, oh yeah, we just talked about this. You should mount your Matrix at the top of a rack to promote airflow. Yeah, at the top of a rack, or at least underneath shallow gear. And those monitors are perfect for it because they're not even an inch deep. How do you manage to have almost no reflection on your glasses from the lights or monitors? Careful placement. So if you look here, you see a reflection, and there's probably one over here somewhere. There it is. They're higher than the camera is. So if the camera is down here and the light's up here, then the reflection is going to be down there. So that's really it. And then I do have the anti-glare coating on the glasses. So if you notice when you do see a reflection, it actually is not, it's not a mirror, right? You see it's tinted green or purple compared to the actual light. It's just that doesn't show up until you get to that angle because of where the lights are. There's the other one. So over on this side, I have like a 1 foot by 2 foot vertical panel. And then on this side, I have the big round one. So you can see the round one over there and the panel over there, but I have to rotate pretty far in order for you to see them. And then the computer monitor might not even show up. It might be too dim. I think it's too dim to show up. The computer monitor, it's down there. The cables looked so organized in that picture. In this picture, yeah. The secret is they're not all plugged in. Notice that there's a bunch of SDIs missing and no HDMIs. So, and almost no SDIs are plugged in here yet. This was an in-progress picture, so that was the trick. Yeah. Jules asks, what is your opinion of the new Zoom Q8 or Q8N 4K handy video recorder. I just saw that the other day. That was really interesting. Zoom Q8N. I've never used any of their cameras before. So this is, I've never actually had firsthand experience with this, but this is what it looks like. Zoom typically makes audio gear and, you know, very good recorders, and I've always liked their stuff. And this is just such an interesting choice for what it means to be a camera. I feel like this, I guess the back folds down, so it folds up into a little tube, which is cool. But, and then, you know, of course you do want your microphone to be like stood off from the camera so that you reduce handling noise and stuff. So it makes a lot of sense. It just looks really weird. It looks super weird. I'm really curious what kind of quality this camera has. Also, I can't remember if it has a zoom or not, zoom lens. I don't know. It's interesting. They are, yeah. I think the best way to think about it is it's a audio recorder. It's a high quality audio recorder that also has a camera, rather than thinking of it as a camera. So, yeah. Okay, no, it is just a wide angle lens. No zoom lens. So, I'm curious. I don't know if I'm going to end up getting one to try out, because I don't know if I would really have a good use for it long term. Definitely curious. But, I mean, the Zoom audio recorders are solid. Like, no complaints about that at all. Okay. Oh, good questions about the SDI stuff. So let's keep going on that for a little bit. Have you done anything with the LUTs in the SDI converters? I'm thinking about trying to match a couple of cameras. I work with these. I have not yet, and I have been also thinking about doing that because like I said, I do have a couple of different cameras in here. Although if you pay close enough attention, you probably can tell. But like, this camera is Sony, so the colors are quite a bit different than this camera. But because it's not my face in both shots, it's harder to tell. They don't match. So it would be kind of fun to try to match that to the main camera. But I discovered that I just don't like color grading. It's just not my thing. So I've been not super excited about trying that out. But I think it's a good idea. I do think it's a good idea. Would you recommend using short HDMI and long SDI, or vice versa? Definitely short HDMI, shorter the better. HDMI is way worse at longer lengths and way worse at just interference and stuff. So definitely, if you can, like if you're going to be going to SDI at any point, shorter HDMI the better. So for most of the cameras, I use as short of a cable as possible, usually 3 feet, sometimes 6 feet. And then I do any of the long runs in the studio over SDI. So that's why I like the snake that goes between the two places between the rack and this table. That's all SDI in there. There are no HDMIs. And yeah, you will have problems with HDMIs the longer you go. Speaking of SDI, is 50 ohm or 75 ohm important? What is the difference? It is definitely important. And now I've forgotten which one is which, but the SDI for video is one of the two. I can't remember off the top of my head which one is which. So like SDI, you can use it for, or the coax cable you can use for a ton of different stuff, right? You can use it for cable TV. You can use it for ham radio antenna feed lines. And the difference is basically like what frequencies of signals it's optimized for transmitting with the least amount of loss. And so that is like, you definitely want to use the one that is the appropriate one. 75 is for SDI video. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember that. But basically make sure if you are doing stuff for SDI video, yeah, use 75 ohm cables, but also the little connectors on the end. So like you can find the BNC connectors in 50 ohm and 75 ohm versions, because again, that's useful for stuff that's not necessarily video. So you'll end up with basically creating, I guess at best, you'll end up creating signal loss. So you won't get the full length out of it, but at worst, you can like actually damage equipment if you have the wrong resistance cables running into it. So you missed out on using coax cable as thin Ethernet. Yeah, no, I did not have to deal with that, thankfully. I did, however, make my own power over Ethernet by using 2 of the unused out of the 8 in Ethernet cables to just run DC voltage over, which I'm sure is very safe. No zoom lens on the Zoom. Their cameras have history left a lot to be desired. Okay. The audio is always great, but the image not so much. That is kind of what I would expect. Low light is always poor, so they don't work well for small club gigs, which is really too bad because I feel like that's where they would be very, very useful. Maybe the new one is better. We'll see. It is brand new, so we'll see how they do. It's not shipping yet, so who knows? Yeah. 45 on light placement. So yeah, 45 degrees. Mine are close to 45, but not quite. But yeah, basically just make it so that your light source doesn't bounce straight back in. So if I had a light right next to the camera, that would be pretty close in terms of the angle, and then you would see it. As for reflection, sometimes a polarizing filter on the camera lens can help. Need to rotate it to get the reflection minimized. It can help, but like the best thing is just to not have the reflections in the first place. Okay, recommendation on setting up a teleprompter for the Pocket Cinema camera, please. I've been reasonably happy with this setup, which I'm using right now, which is, do I have that link handy? I need just a link for my teleprompter combo, because it takes a couple of things. Where is it? So it's monitor and then the glass, teleprompter glass. Yeah, now I'm not even finding it. The monitor I have is the Lilliput A10. Let me grab that link. No, A11. And now I can't remember the name. Yes, A11 10-inch. That's why I was confused. So that's the monitor, and then the teleprompter glass that I'm using is the one that I swear everybody uses. It's Gear TMP 100. So that's in the chat, and you can kind of see it in this shot. The camera's behind it. It does fit the Pocket 4K. Right now it's the GH5S behind it. And then the only trick is it's only a 10-inch wide glass. So if your lens is too wide, it'll see the edges. So you have to you can't go super wide angle with it. A larger teleprompter would let you do that, but it's fine for this. This one's actually zoomed in now quite a bit. So I've been pretty happy with that setup. And the only thing is the monitor. I think I mentioned this in the studio tour video. So if you, again, want to see the closer of that, check out the studio tour video. Just search my channel for studio tour and you'll find it. But the teleprompter is meant to hold like tablets. So it's meant to hold like thin stuff. And the monitor is thicker than a tablet. So it doesn't quite hold it correctly. So I just taped on the bottom under it to hold it in place, and it's been working fine. The reason I like that monitor in particular is because that monitor has the image flip feature built in. So if you don't have a monitor that can flip the image itself, then you're going to have to use either an external scaler, which is going to add like $300, or you use an iPad app for your teleprompter, and the iPad app can flip the image itself, which is fine if you're only ever using it for a teleprompter. Like there's plenty of teleprompter apps that can flip the image. Yeah, I like this monitor because I have things going into here that are not my iPad. So like the web presenter that I'm looking at right now is, you can't quite see it. I think you can't quite see the on-air sign, but the on-air is correctly oriented for me to read it. And if I'm putting my computer screen in there, again, my computer doesn't need to know it's being flipped around. So I like that, using a monitor that has the flip built in. A lot of the smaller 7-inch ones will also do that. So those are useful for that as well if you want something even smaller. Yeah, okay. Question. I use my ATEM for music streaming. DJ, cool. I tried to sign up for your incoming show where people can post their shows. Sadly, I cannot enter because there's always music in the background. Oh, no, I won't be able to use your video if you can only record with music in the background. I'm not gonna deal with the copyright on that. I would love to have you in the video though. If it's possible for you to record something without music playing in the background, then absolutely. Please do submit something there. But yeah, if it's got music in the background, I'm not going to be able to use it because I will get a copyright claim, which is not fun. Decimator MDHX is nice for the flip teleprompter image. I agree. That is a very solid device. It's actually what I've got plugged into this monitor because this monitor it was super cheap. And I learned why it's cheap because it only supports 60 hertz inputs only. Like that's the only frame rate it'll accept. So if I ever wanted to route anything in here from the Matrix that's 30, like most of the devices that I've got in here, it just doesn't show up. It says out of range. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I put the decimator on it only to correct the frame rate, which is, I'm not happy that I am using a $300 device to have only spent $200 on a monitor. But at that point I was like, well, whatever. I already have the decimator. I've already bought the monitor. Yeah. Suggestion for setting up an online store. I've been using Shopify. I went through quite a few iterations of what I should use for it, and I landed on them for a couple of reasons. Actually, it's not the easiest to set up. It is easier than a lot of other options, but it's not the easiest thing. It depends on if you're selling only digital or only physical or a combo. But I actually also really like Gumroad, and that's what I was using before. And I have a bunch of digital stuff on Gumroad, and they make it super, super easy for digital products. And it is just like almost everything is just automatic and it just works and there's no fiddling, which is great. If you want more control, that's where you want to get into Shopify. And Shopify, you can do literally anything you want, but you then have to do more. So this is, you can like choose your layouts and customize what your website looks like. It's more like a full website editor where you can add these different blocks of stuff, which is fun. It does like, can I show you the backend? Is there anything in there that I can't show? Let me see. I don't remember exactly what it shows in these screens, and I don't want to just like show stuff like people's addresses of who have bought things, for example. So Oh yeah, and I have an order I need to ship out today. Thank you for that. This is what the back end looks like, and it says like your product list and stuff. You can go in and add products, control the inventory. Some of these can be from external sources. So I have like all the merch is actually pushed in from Printful, which is why it says there's no inventory, because I'm not managing the inventory. It's all print on demand. But then like if I have physical things I'm selling, I can do that. This was actually a cool thing, is being able to do this giveaway prize where, let me make sure there's nothing in here that's, yeah. This is a cool little trick I did, which is in order to get someone's shipping address when somebody wins a giveaway, I don't just like emailing them and asking for their address. I would like to like, I don't know, get into the order system. So I made a product which costs $100, and then it's marked as a physical product, so it will collect shipping addresses when somebody buys it. But then I can go create a coupon code for this to take the cost down to 0 and send the coupon code to somebody. So I can be like, hey, congratulations on winning. Click on this link, put this in your cart, add this coupon code, and then that's how I can get your shipping address. Then I can mark it as shipped when it's complete. And that's like, it's cool that I can just do that in Shopify. It's got a ton of analytics and stuff that I mostly don't pay attention to. The online store editor is it's based around these themes, so you can choose a theme. You can then customize what goes in here. I can create, I don't even have any other pages other than the home page. But if I just go into where's the, how do I just edit this? Oh my gosh, where's my main? Is it this? Yeah. So here's editing the homepage. All the different blocks of stuff that are on the homepage. Stuff that's hidden because I haven't turned those on yet, but I don't know. It's cool. I like it. I looked around for a bit to figure out what was going to work for, mainly when I started selling all my used gear. I wanted something that was a little bit easier to manage physical sales than Gumroad, which technically supports physical sales, but is relatively new at that. So their Gumroad is much better at digital downloads. How does the TVS HD fit into your video signal flow? Definitely go watch my studio tour video. I'll drop this link in again because I go through like the full explanation of it there. And essentially it is the last part of the chain before the web presenter that's broadcast. And it is where I mix in the graphics. So that's the summary, but for the details, do check out that video because I have a whole diagram in there as well about how that works. With the Roland VO2 HD Mark II work for teleprompter, it claims to flip the video and switches between 2 wired inputs. It's pricey at $395, but would allow for a larger monitor than the Lilliput. That is a really good point, actually. That is a good use. That does seem like a good use for that. The Roland VO2. They just released a new version of that, and where is it? The video switchers. I don't even remember what's new in the Mark II. So I had the VO2 HD. It was for when it was created. It was the smallest and cheapest, which was cool. What's different on this one? Now I don't remember, but this is a new version of it, and 2 HDMI ins. Little crossfader, T-bar. It has a bunch of image processing effects in it, which I've never used, but it does do green screening, although I think the ATEM's green screening is much, much better. But it also does like artsy effects, like just weird stuff. Let's see if they have, yeah. Like a wave pattern. Cool. I don't know why I would ever need that. You want to make your video interview look super saturated? You can. That's cool. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's useful for. I guess here's their use case: blurring somebody in an interview. But yeah, I do remember it also has image flip in it, which means you can use it for a teleprompter. Oh, I think the new thing is that it integrates with their new iPad app. That's what it is. They're bundling it with the iPad app for controlling stuff on the iPad. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a good option if you only need to switch between two different things on your teleprompter, like your program output or your web presenter display, and then like a computer screen. That could be a good option. Yeah, the original ATEM Mini without the Pro in it is cheaper than the Roland. So, and it gives you 4 inputs, but there's no image flip, so you can't use it for the teleprompter solution. But for almost everything else, I would probably recommend the ATEM, except, yeah, if you're using it for the teleprompter, the built-in image flip is a cool idea. Hi, Joel. Thanks for stopping by. Just popping in to say hi, watching your live stream after a long time. It has been a little while since you've seen me here. Thank you for coming back. All right, what other questions can I get to here before we are wrapping up? Because we're almost at the 90-minute mark, which I think is my new show timeline. Thinking about purchasing a Teradek Spark 4K for a wireless camera in our church. I haven't ever used it, so I can't really speak about it, unfortunately. I've heard good things, but you can also find those things by searching the same things I've been searching for. So, sorry, nothing to add there. I have some screens on site sending program out of the Mini Extreme for streaming to a Mini Pro and then to the screens. Any way to get audio to match the on-site screens using the Mini? Now I'm not quite sure what you mean. The program out of the ATEM Mini will include the audio. And the screens in your space, if you want those, I assume you're doing like program feeds for like a lobby area. It should be including the program audio already. If that's not happening, then there's just something set up wrong in it. But yeah, you will get the program audio out over HDMI or any of the outputs. Art says, with the Raspberry Pi moving to 64-bit, there seems to be better video output. Do you think the Raspberry Pi will have more uses in regards to PlayOut and NDI? I think that's a potential, definitely. Still curious what their plan is for having something that replaces what I was using the OMX player software for, which gave like direct access to the video output, which is why it works for the streaming bridge really well. So until they replace that with something, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe removing it was part of the plan for being able to swap to 64-bit. If that sounds vaguely familiar. Now I can't remember the deal with that. But yeah, I think Raspberry Pis are good little tools. I just wish I wish there was better ways to use the graphics chip on it, because it seems like I've tried to configure Chrome to use the hardware acceleration and it doesn't seem to work super great. So, yep. Speaking of audio, does a 20x20 pass audio? I had a gig recently where I didn't see any audio out and I had to band-aid with a pinch to get audio. No, it absolutely does route audio. It is unlike the ATEM or the Constellation even. The problem with the audio routing in the ATEMs is there's essentially only one audio mix, and everything that is output, like you get the 2 HDMI outs on the ATEM, right? Or the on the Constellation, you get like the 20 SDI outs, but the audio is just your program audio on all of them. So you can't really use it as a matrix. The SDI matrix that I have here, the 20x20, absolutely does. It is really like physically moving a cable. So I have, the irony is I'm not even really using that feature anymore, but before I got the external audio mixer, I was running camera audio into a camera, that audio would go through the matrix and then out to whatever output I had in it. As far as I know, there's no setting for that either, so it should be working. So there could be something else in the setup there that is that's going on. Not sure about that. Speaking of audio, Brian says, when I stream a video to my Chromecast, I don't hear the sound. Should I divide it and put it on the mic input? Sure, but you should be hearing the sound. The Chromecast will only do HDCP encrypted, so you have to be using something that will decrypt it for you, which you wouldn't be seeing video if it was not being decrypted properly. So if you're seeing the video, you should also definitely be seeing the audio. There's one thing that I've seen in some of the HDMI devices I've used. It was the Magewell. So in the Magewell Pro Convert, which is, this is gonna make more sense if I just show you the screen. So let's see if I can do this. They make you actually put a real password on it, which is nice, but then I have to use my password manager for it. The Magewell Pro Convert, which is the thing that lets me do like RTMP in or NDI. This one's not the NDI version, but the NDI version. Anyway, the point is, this little device will output HDMI into the ATEM Mini, or in my case, into the Matrix, into the ATEM Mini. And it has the option of decoding audio. And if the sample rate is 44.1, the ATEM doesn't see the audio. And this confused me at first. I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? Why am I not hearing any audio? And it was because the sample rate was 44.1, so the audio that it was creating was not being picked up by the ATEM. And as soon as I switched it to 48, which is what the ATEM uses internally, suddenly the audio appears. So that's the only thing I can think of with the Chromecast. I've not had that happen before. I've never seen that happen before in a Chromecast, but I have not used the most recent Chromecast. So I've only been using like the ones that were being sold like 2 years ago. So it's possible that something changed in the hardware and now they are locked into 44.1 sample rate or something and the ATEM can't see it. Maybe that's what it is. That's my only thought. And one more suggestion, check the volume on the streaming device and the Chromecast via the Google Home app may be turned down. Good point. Good point. Question, you use the Ultra Studio to display graphics and chat messages or direct to ATEM from your computer? I missed the rack shot. It's better in quality. Better than what? So the chat messages they start in OBS on my computer, but then the OBS outputs to the Ultra Studio, and the Ultra Studio outputs key fill 2 channels into the Television Studio HD, not my ATEM Mini, because I don't have enough inputs to do that. And so you should be seeing a crisp edges in the edges here. Like it should look good both against light backgrounds and dark backgrounds because it's got a proper alpha channel. And but that's being done in the ATEM. Yeah. Oh, this is even weirder. I use a splitter to get rid of the encryption. Yep. The ATEM can see the audio, but I can't hear it myself. That makes no sense. If you're seeing the little audio signals in the multi-view, then that means the ATEM sees the audio and you should be hearing it in the output. So that sounds to me like you're just not listening to the program audio. And that could be because, for example, in the audio tab, you do the one exception to the rule of the ATEM only has one audio mix is you can solo, they don't call it solo, you can headphone monitor individual inputs. So if you click on one of these, then what you hear out of the headphone jack is no longer the main mix. So it could be that you've got that checked on the Where's my Zoom working today? Oh, I turned it off because I was trying to troubleshoot a green line appearing on my screen. The where's the accessibility? Oh my gosh. There it is. I like this feature. That was weird. Use scroll. Okay. Now I can do this. That's what I was trying to show you. This button. If that's toggled on, you'll hear, you know, if most of your audios come in on one channel, you'll hear that audio, and then you won't hear any of these in the headphone jack. So maybe that's what's going on. Yeah. I would have to listen to the ATEM on the output. I don't listen to the program audio because it's delayed. I can put it on the stream but not monitor. Now I think I'm lost. Yeah, I think I'm lost. Thank you for the teleprompter setup. It's almost 2:30 a.m. in Thailand. Thank you for joining. Think I need another cup of coffee before going to bed. Coffee is normally my morning thing, not necessarily a evening thing. But more power to you. The green line from last week. I don't know what's going on with my green lines in here. On my screen, on this screen, I see a little green line, but I think it might just be the panel. I don't think it's actually in the video. But then I noticed in my super source, so in the super source layout, I was noticing that it's not doing it now. So on the left edge, there was a green line, and I was recording a video for my new course, and I was like, I do not want to have a green line in the video. So what is going on? And that one, I managed to track down to one of the converters, and I swapped it out for a different converter, and the line went away. I had tried a bunch of other cables. I had tried a bunch of stuff, and then I was just also just getting frustrated. So I was just like, I just need to solve this. I don't have time to actually track this down. And swapped it out for a converter, and the line went away. And now I still don't want to think about it. So we're just going to ignore that problem. It seems to not be doing it right now. But yeah. Bailey says, technically, it is his morning coffee, just a very early morning. That is true. Brian, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for your passion. This is for German beer. Excellent. I will take you up on that offer. Thank you very much. And and then Art says, not seeing a green line on my 60-inch TV here. Good. Well, I don't see one on my monitor either, so that means that is still working, which is yet another reason that I want to just not mess with the studio too much until I finish shooting this course, because I just need to get that done. And if I change too many things at once, then it's going to look weird having like suddenly halfway through people watching the course, like the background's going to change, or I mess something up and then I have to spend 2 days fixing why there's a green line appearing on the screen. Anyway, all good and fun. Okay, we're at the 90-minute mark, so we are going to wrap things up. Thanks everybody for joining today. Thanks for all the questions. Again, my store, I just dropped a link in the chat. I dropped the prices again. We're doing this every week now, where the used gear that I am selling, stuff that I haven't been using in a while, I'm dropping the price by $5 to $20 on the various things until they get down to $1. So go take a look again. New prices out this week. I'm going to keep doing this again next week until I have gotten rid of all this stuff, because I would rather that it goes to a good home where it actually gets used instead of just sitting in my closet like it has been for a while. And of course, you can also find the rest of the merch, and everybody needs a wall calendar. I swear, it's the best thing ever. So yeah, take a look at that link. Thanks for the questions. And yeah, we'll be back again same time next week. I don't have any plans for, probably not going to do any physical rearranging between now and next week. We'll see, because I still have a lot of work to do this week. But yeah, thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for joining every week and asking all these excellent questions. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to hang out and just talk about streaming stuff all the time. So I really appreciate having the chance to do that. Thank you for all the support. And yeah, if you have any more questions, drop them in the comment box. I do try to pop in and out during the week and answer the comments. Otherwise, I will see you back here next week on the stream again. Yeah, thanks everybody, and have a great rest of the week.